So Digital Foundry gave some interesting Xbox Series X news, and I found it to be quite interesting, at least. It's one of those things where we never know what to expect from Xbox. We're kind of at this weird point in the generation where the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, is what Phil Spencer said, and that's his quote. But when it comes to like the performances of Xbox and things like that, I think we all sort of look at things in a slightly different way. I think many of us possibly expected, sort of a different aspect when it comes to the first party content, and maybe like everything having, a situation where we get these games that have performance modes and all these different modes. That's something that we kind of have gotten used to over the last few years. And to be honest with you, it makes sense to do things that way. Obviously, it makes tremendous sense to do things that way. Now, when it comes down to how Microsoft is approaching video games and things like that, I think that they have done some incredible things, and they continue to, I guess I would say they continue to do some pretty nice things. But one of the things that I think some people look at as a misstep is Starfield, and Starfield not having a mode that can offer performance mode, right, on Xbox Series X. I think that is something that some people have taken some issue with. Now, me personally, I play on a newer TV. It's got G-Sync, V-Sync, all that kind of stuff. I don't have issues. It doesn't feel slow to me or anything like that. So it's a weird sort of situation for me. Now, I will say this. When I play Batman Arkham Knights, or Arkham Knights or whatever it is, Gotham Knights, excuse me, I noticed that was slower, right? But for whatever reason with this game, Starfield, I don't notice it. So anyway, Digital Foundry actually tested out if the Xbox Series X might get a performance mode at some point, if it's at all possible. So currently Starfield is capped at 30 frames on console. There's no performance mode that lowers the graphical fidelity and raises the frame rate. In theory, could you run a performance mode on the Xbox Series X? Well, Digital Foundry built a console, or a Frankenstein console, to find out. In an attempt to recreate the specs of the Series X as closely as possible, Digital Foundry used the AMD 4800S desktop kit, replaced the GPU with an RX 6700. While there is no real equivalent to the Xbox's RDNA 2 core, the RX 6700 has similar stats to the PS5's GPU, so a little bit weaker than the Xbox Series X. Now, according to Digital Foundry, the PC is not an exact match for the Series X, but does duplicate some of the architecture quirks of the Xbox's CPU and has similar horsepower to current consoles. All that was left to tune was graphical settings to the Series X. First, running Starfield at 4K resolution with FreeSync 2 enabled, but no dynamic resolution scaling, did occasionally show 60 FPS. However, that was only after the game's more enclosed environment. Space travel ran at 35 frames to 50 frames, while most of the rest of the game was around 30 to 40 FPS. Then Digital Foundry tried lowering the resolution to 1440p, similar to the Series S with this resolution. Starfield ran at a minimum of 40 frames, and much more of the game ran at 60 frames. According to Digital Foundry, this suggests that Bethesda could introduce a 40 frames mode for 120Hz display, like what I have. Variable refresh rate seems like screens might also benefit from the addition of such a mode. While the frame rate is currently locked at 30, it is consistent regardless of Starfield's performance. The game is very popular, and obviously it broke Steam's concurrent player count and all kinds of other things like that, records on Xbox and things as well. So again, it is something that we could potentially see, but is that something that you want to see? I think that would be a pretty big question as well. Like for me, see if they could, here's the thing, right? If they're able to get this thing at 1440p on a Series X to run pretty much a consistent 60, I think that's cool. Then do it. Here's the thing, I don't even care if it will drop down to 1080p. It would have been such a win for them to do 60, just to have that option, just to say, hey, we have the option, even if you had to do 1080p. And what I mean by that is, if you look at some games that are running performance modes right now, right? And I get that it's CPU intensive or whatever, but if you look at games that are run in performance mode, even like that new Jedi game, or even like Final Fantasy on PlayStation 5, those games run even down to 720p to be able to accomplish 60 frames. So, I understand where Bethesda's coming from, but I also understand where some of the fans are coming from, where they want to see, these games run 60 frames. A lot of people have gotten used to that and want to continue to see that kind of situation where it is running at that level. So, hey, listen, we'll see what happens, whether or not we ever see an update for this. I don't know. We still haven't even got an update for Redfall, but, we could see some interesting stuff come out of this, and I think that would be pretty interesting to see how Microsoft and how Bethesda could react to this. So, like I said, I would love to see Microsoft and them be able to offer that down the road or whatever. I could definitely understand why they were hesitant to even talk about this or whatever. It's hard saying, like, if you look at some of the physics involved with this game, then yeah, I would say that it makes sense to kind of do something like that, offer something that is going to be able to increase what people are used to seeing. So yeah, I think we could definitely see something like that. And at the end of the day, maybe they get it running like that. I don't know exactly what the future holds for it, but we could see something in the future where it offers a higher frame rate or whatever. And like I said, there's other games out there that do something similar. Like you could do the 40 frames mode on 120 hertz TVs and things like that. So they have lots of options for people, and I think that we could see something like that in the future. We'll wait and see what happens. Anyway, it's one of the crazier things. I don't think that it has personally affected the game. I think that the gameplay is absolutely incredible, and it really just kind of comes down to how we each kind of want to play these things. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, us as fans, we sit there and we wait for these things to happen, and I think that it's one of those things that would be a great thing to add a little bit later. And again, this is one of the things that as a fan, I'm sitting here thinking, hey, it is kind of crazy to think that they could do this. So, hey, we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. If you guys enjoy the content, please let me know. I would appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the videos. That always helps out a tremendous a lot. And thanks for watching. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Remember to rack 'em up, fact 'em up, and as always, Crap Gamer 'em up. Take it easy. Have a good one. Crap Gamer out.